Welcome, you're watching Trending Tonight with me, Sanket Upadhyay. There's a big outreach, a government outreach on a day when a Bharat Bandh was announced by the farmers, the pictures that you just saw. Amit Shah has intervened for the first time. He's holding a dialogue with the farmers as we speak. This is Shah's first intervention since the protest broke out. Sources say that the government could consider certain crucial amendments, and it's quite likely that today those amendments will be told to these farmer unions. Not all who were in dialogue with the government have been invited for this pull aside with Amit Shah. Only a few, 12 leaders to be precise. These amendments could guarantee MSP, which is under consideration. We do not know the exact details, so that's a little rider there. This is all under consideration. But the farmer union leaders have already rejected this proposal when it was presented by Narendra Singh Tomar. They've said, we don't want amendments. We want you to repeal this law. Farmer unions say, repeal the law or the protest is going to continue. The next round of talks are going to take place tomorrow. And the government has also launched a massive information campaign on the farm laws, which they feel is to send out the right message as far as these farm laws are concerned. So what exactly is going to happen will be very, very crucial. And that meeting with Amit Shah is still on. Some confusion over the venue, but the meeting is presently underway with farm union leaders. Also on the show, in just a short moment, we'll be getting you an exclusive interview with P. Chidambaram. He says the government's farm law is actually Trumpism. What does he mean? Do watch out for that interview. Let me introduce our guest this evening. Naresh Sirohi, National Vice President of the BJP Kisan Morcha, is with us. Professor Gaurav Vallabh of the Congress Party. Hello. Geeta Bhatt, a political analyst, views lean towards the right. And Kiran Kumar Vissa, he's the AIKSCC National Working Group member. Thank you very much, all of you all, for joining us. Gaurav Vallabh, let's begin with you first. Amit Shah has intervened for the first time, requesting the protesting farmers to come and meet him. A proposal, I'm being told, Sanket, is on offer. So Gaurav Vallabh, let's forget about the past, right? In the past, they should have reached out. That all is over. They're reaching out now. Okay. If something good comes now, why should there be an objection to it?
So I'm thankful on behalf of the 62 crore farmers of our country that after 13 days of such a chilling winter, farmers are on the road, and now Home Minister is saying, for the change, let us meet the farmers. Okay. What was the demand of the farmers, Sanket? From the day one to till date, what was the demand? That where he is going to get MSP, how he is going to get MSP, and how his MSP is ensured at all levels. Can MSP given as a legal right? That is the demand of the farmer. If you are going to include MSP as a legal right, then there is no need of these three black laws for the farmers of our country. So don't try to mislead. I will tell all the politicians who are ruling the country that farmers are here only for their demand, for their assurance of MSP, because they had a genuine fear that when the suit boot guys will enter into 30 lakh crore agricultural sector, they will not get the MSP, and they want this should be written in the law. If the government is ready to write this in the law, then there is no need of these three, I can say, black laws like farmers agreement on price, no requirement. The farmers produce trade and commerce, not required, and not required in the as an amendment in the Essential Commodities Act. That is what precisely farmers demand. Don't try to mislead them that I will take your this demand, that demand. There is only one demand.
But then I don't understand, Gaurav Vallabh, if you say that a guaranteeing of MSP is the primary demand, and if that is done, then in that case you don't need any laws, because you've basically guaranteed MSP. But the farmers don't agree with this. Farmers are saying no guarantee. First of all, get rid of these laws. That's my problem. Do you think that there is a certain element of rigidity? Let me quickly go across to Mr. Vissa. Mr. Vissa, do you think that this has all become about rigidity? Rigidity on the part of the government and rigidity on the part of farm union leaders?
No, I don't think it's about rigidity on behalf of the farmers' movements. I think farmers' movements have been very clear on their demands. I think so far there has been no meaningful proposal from the government side in these the last 3 rounds of discussions that have happened. Some small amendments have been proposed, but the thing is, what we are clearly putting forward is that there are very fundamental issues which are wrong in the direction of these laws itself. So those won't be fixed by tinkering with certain clauses. So if there is a fundamental rationale, for example, of bringing up the APMC Bypass Act, the way that we are calling it, the fundamental rationale itself is problematic. So therefore, if you actually remove those particular clauses which we are demanding, then the reason for the law itself would collapse. That's the logic that we are putting forward. I would not see that as rigidity, but so far from the government, actually they have been taking this position publicly also that these laws are all good. We can make some small changes and that should be enough. And the farmers are actually have misunderstood these laws. This is the kind of rhetoric that we are seeing both inside and outside.
Okay.
So that I think is causing the problem.
Sure.
It's not just about MSP. I would like to place that also on record. It's not just about MSP. It is about farmers having more control and protection over their rights rather than giving an unregulated playing field for the corporates and traders. Okay. Because we have seen what happens with unregulated playing field.
Okay.
In Bihar, for example, it's a completely unregulated market. There's no APMC Act. And we find that actually the farmers end up getting 500-600 rupees less than the what is obtained in anywhere else in the country. So it's about 25-30% lower prices in Bihar where there's an unregulated market compared to places where there's a regulated market, because the regulation is not on the farmers. The regulation is on the traders and companies. Okay. Once that is removed, then farmers lose any protection.
Sure.
So this whole argument that farmers are getting some new freedom to sell outside the mandis.
No, but then here is the thing, Mr. Vissa, here is the thing. As far as the government is concerned, we are hearing some reports that the government is ready to give a written confirmation on the following: on MSP, on SDM issue change by an executive order, empaneling private buyer and setting stringent guidelines for them, digital platform of all buyers, etc. Now, all of this is the outcome of the last meeting that took place between the farmers as well as the government, which was rejected.
So let me quickly, can I quickly respond on that?
Yeah.
See, one thing is written assurance on MSP actually doesn't carry much meaning. We are asking for a legal status for MSP so that it doesn't remain on some kind of a government order. Because for it to actually actualize into implementation, there has to be a legal backing to the MSP, which currently is not there, and that has been a long-standing demand of the farmers. So that's point number one. So that way written assurance falls very much short of what the farmers are demanding.
Sure. Very quickly, Mr. Sirohi and then Geeta Bhatt. Yes, Mr. Vissa, let me come back to you. Two panelists have not spoken. Mr. Sirohi, let me come to you now. मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूँ, आपने देखा कि सरकार अभी भी, और जो हमको अब जानकारी मिल रही है, now the sort of information that we are getting is that Mr. Amit Shah is going to personally ask these farm unions to agree to the amendments that the government has agreed on. The government is most likely going to agree to, give in writing MSP being there, SDM court issue change, empaneling of the private buyer and stringent guidelines for them, and digital platform for all buyers. सिरोही जी,
बात हुई है कि बेशक भारत बंद रहा, लेकिन सरकार के जो रास्ते हैं वो बातचीत के खुले रहे, और अमित शाह जी ने इसमें बीच में इंटरवीन किया है और सबको बुलाया है। और मैं हमेशा से ये कहता रहता हूँ कि किसानों के जो इशू हैं, किसानों की जो चिंताएं हैं और उनकी जो जीविका को सुरक्षित रखने की जो इसमें पहल है वो होनी चाहिए। और ये एमएसपी का जो विषय है, लंबे समय से किसान जो घाटे की खेती करता आ रहा है, ये जो आज आंदोलन है ये उसका नहीं है, ये बहुत पुराना एक आक्रोश किसानों के बीच में लंबे समय से पनप रहा था, वो आज सड़कों पे है। तो सरकार उसके प्रति गंभीर है और मुझे लगता है कि अब आगे से किसान घाटे की खेती ना करें, हमको ऐसा कोई रास्ता तैयार करना पड़ेगा। और सरकार ने रास्ते खोले हैं तो अब पूरी बातचीत हो जाएगी तो और पता लगेगा, लेकिन सरकार इस मामले में बहुत सीरियस है कि वो किसानों को वो सुरक्षा प्रदान करे जिससे उनकी आमदनी और उनकी जीविका सुरक्षित रहे। जो भारत में पुरानी कृषि पद्धति है उसकी भी सुरक्षा की बात है, वो भी सुरक्षित रहे। हम एक नए बहाव में आके कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि जो देश का सिस्टम है उसको खराब कर ले।
जी, गीता भट्ट
को बनाए रखना।
गीता भट्ट, I want to come to you now. You know, a lot is being said about the government being responsive and listening to the farmers and now eventually reacting. I asked this question of everyone. I have asked this of everyone and I am asking this of you again. Now, what if this consultation would have been done earlier, before clearing this law, instead of now, after clearing this law? See, the casualty is a trust deficit.
Well, Sanket ji, you know, the ordinance was brought in the month of June and the bill was passed sometime in September. So, everyone, those who are the stakeholders were very much aware, including the political parties who are, you know, opposition political parties who are, you know, trying to portray this that as if these farm bills are going to be, are damaging for the farmers. So everyone had a time to put up their request and, you know, put up if they had any kind of an apprehension about it. But somehow that did not happen till they got passed. Now, the point is that it was not far away. It was in 2019 that 7 of the major farmer associations from Punjab, they unanimously backed when the central government directed the Punjab government that to remove the Arhatia system and to directly pay the MSP for the crop which has been purchased into the farmer's account. So it was just 1 year back. Now, when that is being, you know, legalized, it is being legitimized by the various laws which has been brought up by the, by the government. Why is it that there is so much of hue and cry? And largely, you know, one thing important that has to be seen is that now definitely there are some concerns and there could have been, you know, some that there was not a proper communication to the farmers. Those possibilities are definitely there. The government is already extending an olive branch. But the fact is that, you know, the opposition parties, do they have a moral ground?
As I said, no, you leave the opposition aside. As I said, it all boils down to a trust deficit. Had you had this consultation process earlier on all the steps that the government is willing to take now, had this happened earlier, then things would have been very different. Perhaps you would have had this bill with the blessing of the farmers. Right now, you're battling a trust deficit. That's the only point that I'm trying to make. Gaurav Vallabh, very quickly, and then Mr. Vissa, running out of time. Gaurav Vallabh.
Sanket, I just want to know the name of any significant farmers union or group of unions in the entire country who is welcoming these 3 black laws. Name any opposition party CM or non-BJP CM who had welcomed this particular 3 black laws. I'm just asking Madam Geeta and the gentleman from the BJP, because what we are demanding, number 1, legal guarantee on MSP. Number 2, continuation of the grain procurement through government agency. Number 3, we want barring of the suit friends in the agriculture sector.
Government is saying that all of this will happen.
I am asking Sanket, please tell me the name of any significant farmers union who is in favor of these 3 black laws.
Okay.
Name from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Name any.
Okay, I'm running out of time. I've run out of time. I've run out of time in this discussion. Mr. Vissa, quickly, 10 seconds. Yeah.
I'm just saying that the protests against the ordinances started on July 26th. That is when 15,000 tractors were on the road at the peak of Corona in Punjab. August 9th, there were protests across the country. 200 farmer organizations wrote to the Prime Minister saying that these ordinances should be changed. They're against the farmers. Still, the BJP government went ahead. So I think that is one fact that everybody should note. So the democracy.
Okay. I've run out of time in this segment, but Mr. Vissa, Geeta Bhatt, Gaurav Vallabh, as well as Mr. Naresh Siroi, thank you so much for joining us on this short discussion.